So, welcome to Guilty Like a Mother. I guess this is our fifth case that we've covered, and today I'm talking about Linda Carty. Linda Carty is a case from Texas, and it's a death penalty case. So, Linda Carty, that's a cat. I apologize.
Oh, no, you're fine.
So, Linda Carty was actually born in St. Kitts, and that's important. It comes up later, but St. Kitts at the time when Linda was born in the 50s was actually owned by the United Kingdom. So that means that she's a resident or a citizen of the United Kingdom. And it comes into play, like I said, later on. Linda Carty was in a relationship in like the 2000s with a man named Jose Corona. And they like broke up. They were off and on a lot, but a lot of things that I saw referred to Jose as her common law husband. Jose had moved out of the apartment that they shared in May of 2001, but they were still on like decent terms. Like he was still like working on the relationship, I guess, but just not living there with her at the time. Through the time that they were like having trouble, Linda told Jose 3 or 4 times that she was pregnant, and he would be like, oh, okay, cool, trying to support her. I want to go to the doctor with you. And then she would, because she wasn't actually pregnant, she would have a miscarriage. So Linda lived at the Sandy Glen complex in Houston, and she lived in apartment 38. There was a woman that lived in apartment 36. Her name was Joanna Rodriguez, and Joanna was pregnant. Joanna had a baby in May of 2001, a little boy whose name was Ray. On May 15th, 2001, Linda told one of her neighbors that she was pregnant and she was going to be having a baby the next day. She also told her common law husband, Jose, that she was pregnant and she was going to be having a baby on May 16th. On May 16th, 4 people were involved in breaking into Joanna Rodriguez's apartment. Those 4 people were Linda Carty and then 3 men who the men were named Chris Robinson, Carlos Williams, and Gerald Anderson. Now, these 3 men, I don't know if they were like on drugs or whatever, but basically they decided to break into this home because they were promised that there was a large amount of cash in the home and a large amount of marijuana and cocaine in the home. And that's what they were going to get out of breaking into this apartment. When they broke into the apartment, there was Joanna Rodriguez, the mom who had a 3-day-old baby. Also in the home was her husband and her cousin. Her husband and her cousin were pistol whipped, and they were like hogtied with duct tape. And Joanna was kidnapped and the baby was taken. There were 2 cars that were involved. One of them, I believe, is a car that belonged to Linda Carty's older daughter, like adult daughter, and another one was a rental car that was rented by Linda Carty herself. In one of those cars was a baby seat already. Linda took baby Ray and put him in the car seat. Joanna was taken and put in the other car. At some point in time, Linda put a plastic bag over Joanna's head and Joanna was suffocated. She was also duct taped. Police were called, of course.
Yeah.
They started looking for Joanna and they were like looking all over the city for Joanna. This is Houston. It's like a large area.
Yeah, right. Houston's big.
So Linda Carty, she becomes, I don't want to, like a person of interest. Her name comes up pretty quickly. because the person in apartment 40, so like on the other side of Linda Carty, told police that the day before she saw Linda was sitting in her car. This woman was like taking out her trash, checking her mail. Linda called her over to her car and told the lady that she was going to be having a baby the next day. And this woman said, Linda didn't look pregnant at all. Like, I couldn't see anything that said she was pregnant. Now there's like this missing baby.
Wow.
So,
Busted.
yeah. So Linda Carty had at one point in time been a CI. That will come up later. She made some control buys for the DEA. There is another factor in this. The other factor is that about a month before the kidnapping, Linda had called the police and made a report that she was being accosted by two Hispanic males at the apartment complex where she lived. Police came out and they took a report. They didn't find anything, like there was no sign of anything.
Yeah.
But the report was open. So when police started to narrow in on Linda or want to talk to Linda, they called her and they were like, hey, we want you to come in so we can talk about this report where these guys accosted you.
Yeah.
They met her at a McDonald's. And when they met her at a McDonald's, they talked to her, whatever. At some point, they got her to go to the police station. When they got her to go to the police station, she's like, I want to talk to Charlie Mathis. Charlie Mathis, as it turns out, was the former handler that handled Linda Carty when she did the control buys. And Linda Carty made it seem like she did all of these control buys, like she was some big help to the police. She did a few very low level control buys, and she tried to go to Houston and do some work with them, and she put the police in danger. She was very bad at it, and they let her go. And also, that was 6-7 years prior to this happening, so it's kind of weird that she's asking for her handler now.
Mm-hmm.
So her handler comes in and she's just talking a bunch of crap. She really doesn't have anything to say to him. She did say that she was concerned because she loaned her rental car and her daughter's car out to men that she felt could be involved in the crime. So, Charlie Mathis kind of pleads with her. They bring in her common law husband, Jose, to talk to her. And Jose is like, did you have the baby? Where's, my baby you said you were having today? And I think he really thought that there was a baby.
Yeah.
And she was started to explain to him, I didn't have a baby. I wasn't pregnant. Which is
Yeah.
weird considering, she kidnapped for this baby.
Yeah. No kidding.
So police also found out that prior to the kidnapping, Linda Carty had rented a hotel room at the Hampton Inn. She rented it in her name, and in that hotel room, they found baby items. So then police really just needed to find, where is this baby? Where is Joanna?
Mm-hmm.
They finally were led to the home of a man who was actually not involved at all. He was on house arrest, so he couldn't even go anywhere. They know for sure he wasn't involved. And at that home, they smelled that smell. They found Joanna in the trunk of a car. She was deceased. And the baby was actually being cared for by one of the assailants, Chris Robinson. He was taking care of the baby. Also, I do want to put in this. Linda lied to all these men by saying that there were drugs and was a lot of cash. There were no drugs. There was only $1,000 in cash, and that's because Joanna and her husband were saving up to purchase a car. So all they got is $1,000, and after that happened, they talked about murdering Linda themselves. Like, they were going to flip on her because they were now involved in this serious crime when all they wanted were drugs and money. So Linda was charged with capital murder, and of course she was convicted by a jury and sentenced to the death penalty. The other three men did not get as stiff a sentence as Linda. They actually pled guilty. All of them pled guilty. Well, two of them pled guilty to aggravated kidnapping. One was sentenced to life in prison. That was Gerald Anderson. Chris Robinson pled guilty to aggravated kidnapping and was sentenced to 45 years in prison. And then Carlos Williams took it to a jury trial, and he was found guilty of kidnapping and sentenced to 20 years in prison. So that is, I've said on one of these other episodes that you usually get punished for taking it to a trial, but that is one instance that he actually got the least sentence by taking it to a trial.
He definitely lucked out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, Linda Carty, as you know, like, you have automatic appeals whenever you're on death row, like a lot of chances for appeal. She's lost every appeal, but there is one issue at hand that could help her. And that issue is that, like I said at the beginning, she is actually a citizen of the United Kingdom. So there is this thing called the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. And according to that, the United Kingdom, she should have been told that they could contact the United Kingdom for basically a representative for her when she was charged with this crime. This isn't the only time that the person hasn't been told that they have that right, but apparently, currently, it is an issue for King Charles. He is taking it very seriously, mostly, I think, because, like, the death penalty, they feel like it's unjust, the death penalty, not just in this case, but I think any case. And, you know, like, we all have our opinions on the death penalty, but
Right.
that's the one thing that may save her.
Wow. So then she may not get the death penalty then.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I could see even she could be sent, they could send her if they wanted to. Texas being who it is, they might not, but they could send her to the United Kingdom and just let the United Kingdom deal with her. Of course, if they do that, you know, like, her sentence is going to be a lot less because other countries don't treat prison like it's punishment. It's like, you know, rehabilitative, whereas in the United States it's punitive, intended to be rehabilitative, but actually punitive. So especially the death penalty. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. I don't see Texas willingly letting go of her just because of the crime, but we'll see. Also, I did read that Joanna's husband and her son, baby Ray, they moved back to Mexico after her death. So I can't imagine how difficult that must have been for them.
yeah.
So that is the case of Linda Carty.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to know the update on that. King Charles is pretty powerful though.
He is, but also he has health problems, and I don't know how much longer actually that he would even be king, because he has like cancer and stuff. I kind of imagine that in the next year or two, Prince William will be king. We'll see, but that's kind of what I think. I think his mom was the queen for so long, it kind of like took him, you know, prevented him from getting to be king for so long, you know, for very long, because she was the queen.
She lived a very long life. But
Yes.
bless
Yeah.
him, he didn't get to be in there very long.
No.
Or I don't know. he could beat this I knew he had cancer. He could beat it. Because I don't know where he's at with that. But William's wife, didn't she have cancer too?
Yeah, she did. I don't know the kind either one of them have. I think she's supposed to be doing better. I hope she is.
Me too.
You know, it's cancer's. I hate cancer. It's a terrible thing, but
That's a sad story. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand why people just can't adopt kids. There's so many kids that need families here in the United States. Like, I don't understand all of that. And maybe, maybe the rules to adopt a kid are so, and the laws or whatever. There ain't laws, but you know what I mean. It might be just so strict that you can't. Maybe you have to have a perfect record. You have to be married. You have to, I don't know what it is, but maybe a lot of these people have tried and they couldn't. I don't know.
well,
But
every one of these people that I've done cases for, though, they had children. She had a child, an adult child. It's not like she didn't have any children. And, I do think that things have changed in the last 20 years since this happened as far as the standards for adoption. So maybe the laws or standards have relaxed some. I don't know, honestly. I just know there's so many kids out there looking for homes and not enough foster families for sure.
yeah, I just don't understand them risking and throwing their lives away, like that. It just, they get caught. They're going to get caught. I mean, it's just, you can't hide that.
I think
A
they just
pregnant,
always think that they're the one that's not going to get caught. And that's another thing about this case. The prosecutor believes that the reason Joanna Rodriguez's baby was taken was because the father was Hispanic and Linda Carty's common law husband was Hispanic. So I don't know if that played a role in it or not, but it could
yeah,
have been just that the baby was there.
and easy for her to, with them being neighbors. How old is the baby now?
Well, that would have been 2001. So the baby's an adult now, 23.
Oh, okay.